Hello book lovers, welcome to Uncommon Reader. My name is Daniela, coming to you today for a quick tag. I'm responding to Meg Purdue tag on the reader's profile tag created by Hillary Green. So let's get into the questions right away. What makes for you a good book? I think I'm gonna be very short with my answers. A really good book is one that you don't want to skip paragraphs. It's really into the story. Question number 2. What are you currently reading? I am reading Beartown. And I have to confess, I am skipping a few chapters. I think this story is very compelling, but it could be a little more concise. Before I got into the core of the story, it was like 300 pages before I could reach something that would get really my attention. But I am still reading it, so it's a good sign after all. Prompt number 3. What's the last book you didn't finish and why? I think it may be The Three Body Problems, which I did mention also in my January favorites. I thought the book was too complicated for my intelligence because I don't know nothing about physics and astronomy, so it was just way crazy for me, but I do love the TV series. Prompt number 4, what obscure book do you wish other people would read? So I thought about a book from an Italian author, Guido Morselli, who is a 20th century writer, and I really got so intrigued by this novel called Dissipatio. Dissipatio, I think that's the Latin word. That is the title of this book, that also has a tag for the English version called The Vanishing. I have to read you what it's about. From his solitary Buen Retiro in the mountains, the last man on earth drives to the capital, Chrysopolis, to see if anyone else has survived the vanishing. But there are no one else, living or dead, in that city or holy plutocracy with its 56 banks and as many churches. He'd left the metropolis to escape his fellow humans and their struggles and ambitions. But to find the entire human race has evaporated in an instant is more than he bargained for. Meanwhile, life itself, the rest of nature, is just beginning to flourish now that the human beings are gone. Isn't this intriguing? What I loved about this book was the fact that the protagonist would have this sense of wonder. Is this a blessing, or it's the worst thing that could happen to me, to be the only one left on earth? And I was more worried about, well, what if you have a toothache? There's no dentist around, or things like that. So a very compelling and intriguing story, and I would encourage you to give it a try if you like dystopians. And I said I would be sure with my answers, right? Well, prompt number 5, what's the longest book you have ever read? I'm not sure, but I'm going to mention this book, Paris, by Edward Rutherford. It's the story of the city of Paris, so I can be reminded of my constant love for Paris. But probably it's not the longest. Maybe David Copperfield by Charles Dickens? I can't tell. Number 6. If you could have a dinner party with 5 fictional characters, who would they be? Okay, I will have to pause the video now, so let me think. Right. Okay, I thought about Mr. Darcy. Actually, that was the first character that came to mind. The Count of Montecristo, Count Roscoe from The Gentleman in Moscow, Buck, it's not a person, but more than a person, from The Call of the Wild, and Momo from Life Before Us, a book by Romain Gary. Number 7, 5 books you would want if stranded on a deserted island. Okay, 5 books I have read or 5 books I haven't read yet? Oh, so hard to pick. I don't know. I would maybe pick some books that I might want to reread. So I would pick Sears by Madeline Miller. I would pick The Count of Montecristo because I've actually never read it, although I know the story pretty well. I would pick a new book from Amor Tolls I haven't read yet, so I would have to choose, and I'll leave the cover right here on the screen. And I would choose The Pickwick Papers by Charles Dickens because I think it's going to be witty and funny. I haven't read that book. And then I would pick Shantaram because it's another big and long book that I haven't read yet. We'll be reading this year. Did I get 5? I'm not so sure, but hopefully yes. Number 8, one book you could not put down. Well, that was Asylum by Patrick McGrath. I actually read it in a day, and that was more than 300 pages. Hypnotic. Prop number 9, 5 books or authors you would never read. This is the hardest of the questions. I would definitely not be interested in reading Marcel Proust again. I would never probably read Ulysses by James Joyce. And I think I couldn't think of anything else. I have a few authors that scares me, but that doesn't mean that I would not give it a try, because if you have never read them, you couldn't really tell. So I don't want to discourage myself from, reading certain authors, classic authors from the Russian and the French writers, which are very well known, like, Stendhal, or Tolstoy, Dostoevsky, which are really heavy, I believe, books, but I think they, deserve a chance, right? So I'm just gonna name 2 authors for this prompt. Prompt number 10, if you were to write a book, what would it be about? Okay, actually, when I was younger, I started writing a book that was more like a spy story. So I would probably write, not that I have interest in writing right now, I would write something adventurous, and I love spy stories, although I don't read enough spy stories. So yeah, I would probably write something like a mystery. And if it has some historical facts to it, it is also one of my favorite genres. So it would be kind of a Ken Follett type of book when he used to do more adventurous books. Tag others. It's the last request, and I will do so in the info box. So there it is. Here's my Tag Tuesday for you, and I look forward to see you here back on Uncommon Reader on Thursday, because I'm going to share my opinion on Lincoln Highway, my body read of January with Renee of Beyond Books. So see you very soon. Take care and happy reading. Ciao.